Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. UFC Fight Night Noche just ended, and in the main event, we got Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko 2, and this is going to be my post-fight breakdown for the main event, and we got a controversial decision, a split draw, which means all three judges had different scorecards. You had a 48-47 for Alexa Grasso, you had a 48-47 for Valentina Shevchenko, and you had a 47-47. So therefore, none of them could come to an agreement. So therefore, it is a split draw, and Alexa Grasso remains the women's flyweight champion. And we had a very controversial scoring of the fifth round by one judge. And we're going to dig deeper on the judges' scorecards later in the video. But also, in round 4, a very controversial moment happened. And because of the judges' scorecard in the fifth round, specifically the way it was scored, it overshadowed that moment in the fourth round. And now nobody is talking about it. And I think any other title fight, it would be the main talking point for the entire fight. And I actually went back and rewatched that specific section of the fourth round before I did this video. But how did I score the fight? The first round, Valentina Shevchenko clearly won the first round. She was beating her up on the feet. She was landing good body kicks, stinging her with the left hand. Shevchenko was looking pretty good in the first round. She was just landing really good shots, landing good combinations. She got an easy takedown. She was being super aggressive on the ground, immediately started moving towards full mount. Then Grasso gave up her back. She started looking for the rear naked choke. She got over aggressive, so Grasso was able to get back to her feet. And then they just kind of remained in the clinch for the remainder of the round. It was like 30, 45 seconds left in the first round. Shevchenko clearly won the first round. Now, the second round, one of the more exciting rounds of the entire fight. And the fight overall was a really solid fight. And I think the scoring kind of dampens the fight, even though it was a really solid fight. The second round, Valentina Shevchenko was outstriking her, then got dropped badly by a right hand. She kind of did a backflip. She gets back to her feet. Grasso clinches up with her, starts smashing her in the clinch a little bit. Shevchenko took her down, but really didn't do much with it. And then Shevchenko kind of couldn't pass the guard, and Grasso's kind of beating her up from the bottom. Shevchenko stands up and just stands there hovering over, occasionally throwing a leg kick. She took one nasty up kick, and also she took a bunch of kicks to the knee as she's just standing there doing nothing. I hate when fighters just stand over other fighters doing absolutely nothing. Clear second round for Alexa Grasso, indisputable, dropped her and then landed the nasty up kick as well. Third round, uncontroversial as well. Valentina Shevchenko clearly won the third round, just outstriking her with ease, took her down, moved to side control. When Grasso tried to get up in the third round, Valentina Shevchenko jumped on a guillotine, almost got it, ended up in a mounted guillotine, and wasn't able to finish it. It looked tight. There was some bad camera work in the third round. We couldn't really tell. But Grasso gets out of it, but still Valentina Shevchenko had her full mounted. Grasso gives up her back. Valentina's looking for a rear naked choke. She has the body triangle, controls her for the rest of the round until the very last second. It seems like Grasso's going to scramble out. But Valentina Shevchenko, had she had more time, she might have actually got an armbar at the end of the third round. That's a bit exaggeratory. Round 3, clearly Valentina Shevchenko outstruck her, outgrappled her in round 3. Round 4, kind of controversial. Round 4 was going Valentina Shevchenko's way, and then she was landing on the feet, but it was kind of close. And then she shoots in on a sloppy takedown. It gets stuffed, and then Alexa Grasso proceeds to knee her in the head. I believe it was 6 or 7 times she knees her in the head. But what's controversial is, while this is happening, Valentina Shevchenko had her hand down. And the commentary was kind of all over the place. Dominic Cruz was saying, well, if there's no weight on the hand, it doesn't count. John Anik saying it's legal in Las Vegas. And this had me confused because initially when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, oh, that's completely illegal. Why isn't Herb Dean doing anything? Herb even yelled, hey, for a second, and then started rushing in. And then Valentina Shevchenko, when she's up against the fence after she got kneed a couple times, she's kind of complaining. And Herb Dean's like, keep fighting. And then John Anik says, oh, well, they're legal in Las Vegas. And then I'm thinking, well, I don't remember them being legal in Las Vegas because if the hand's down, I know they changed that in some commissions, and I'm thinking maybe I'm confused, and maybe I'm still confused. But I looked up Las Vegas's rules, and according to their website where their rules are written, a downed opponent is an opponent that has anything other than the soles of their feet on the ground. And I went back and watched that exchange very closely. And while she lands the knees, sometimes the hand comes up. We didn't get definitive replays on those knees because John Anik just brushed over it and acted like, oh, they were clean no matter what. Because in some commissions, in some jurisdictions, it doesn't matter if you have the hand down. You have to have a knee down to be considered a downed opponent. And I watched them like 2 times, and I tried to really slow them down and look at them over and over again. Some of them, it looked like Valentina, as the knee landed, it took the hand up. So it was razor close, but on a couple of them, it was clear that her fingers were down while she's getting kneed. And then even one of them, maybe 2 of them, looked like they were to the back of the head. So that is kind of a very controversial exchange, because without those knees and after those knees, Valentina Shevchenko goes on to just basically outstrike her in the rest of the round. When they get to the clinch position and Valentina gets to the 50-50 position, she lands an elbow over the top that busts Grasso up. Then she lands a nasty right hand. And then at the end of the 4th round, she gets a takedown. So the 4th round, even with the knees, it's a close round. I lean Grasso with the knees if they were legal, but if they're illegal, probably should have been Valentina Shevchenko's round. And even with the knees being legal, I think you could still score it for Valentina Shevchenko, because outside of those knees, Alexa Grasso did nothing in that entire round. And that was a 30-second span of the round. So the 4th round, I think, should be more controversial than the 5th round. And it seems like nobody's aware of the actual rules. John Anik doesn't know. Dominic Cruz doesn't know. Dominic Cruz was horrible in commentary. But I gave the 4th round to Alexa Grasso. Regardless, watching it live, I had 1 and 3 for Valentina Shevchenko. I had 2 and 4 for Alexa Grasso going into the 5th round, which seems to be the most controversial round of any round. And Valentina Shevchenko just outstruck Alexa Grasso for the first, 3.5 minutes till about the 1.5 minute mark. It was just Shevchenko just circling around, popping the jab, popping the left hand, landed some inside leg kicks, and just outstriking Alexa Grasso. She looked kind of tired. Valentina was just busting her up a little bit. Grasso was bleeding. Towards the end of the round, Valentina Shevchenko made a decision. Look, I'm the superior grappler. I'm going to look for a head and arm throw. I'm going to look to seal this round with a takedown at the end. And she makes a crucial mistake, because Grasso avoids the head and arm throw and gets the back of Valentina Shevchenko and begins to start pounding shots over and over and over again. And I watched it again on live stream. A lot of them landed on the arms and gloves of Valentina Shevchenko. It didn't look good because she's just kind of sitting there and the body language didn't look good. And then once Grasso realized, okay, a lot of these aren't getting through, she started fighting for a rear naked choke. And then Valentina ends up kind of not reversing the position, but ends up in a much better position where instead of being turtled up with her back taken, she ended up on top with her back taken. And they're both just kind of throwing little pitter-patter shots for the last maybe 20 to 25 seconds of the round. In the 5th round, a lot of people were saying, no, Grasso stole it at the end. Now, I think pretty clearly that Valentina Shevchenko won that 5th round. I have to go back and rewatch the 5th round, but you can't get outstruck essentially until there's 1.5 minutes left in the fight. Get a takedown off of a mistaken head and arm throw. End up on the back. She landed a couple good shots. Couple good ground and pound shots. But the majority of them were to the arm and glove of Valentina Shevchenko. And then you look for a rear naked choke, and at the end, it doesn't really get close ever at any point in time. I think you have to score the round for Valentina Shevchenko. And I think you have to give her the 5th round based off of damage. I thought she did more damage on the feet than Grasso did with the ground and pound shots for basically 30 to 40 seconds in that 5th round before she went looking for the rear naked choke, because the ground and pound wasn't really working out for her. It wasn't really landing super clean. Otherwise, she would have just pounded her out, but they were just hitting the arms and gloves. And I think the 5th round should have went to Valentina Shevchenko. So I had it 3-2 for Valentina Shevchenko. I had round 1 for Valentina Shevchenko, round 3 for Valentina Shevchenko, and round 5 for Valentina Shevchenko. I think the 4th round could have went to Valentina Shevchenko as well. So I think in a universe, you could have had it 4-1 for Valentina Shevchenko. And also that 4th round, I think some of those knees were illegal. Even if all of them weren't illegal, there was about 6 knees. I would say 3 of them were illegal because the hand was touching the ground. And according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission's website, unless they didn't update their website with their new rules, she was a grounded opponent. And some of them, her hand kind of came up right as the knee was landing. So, okay, maybe you say half of them. So you take away 3 of those knees, it's a clear round for Valentina Shevchenko. And, it's just disturbing because now you have a split draw. You don't even have a clean winner now. And in reality, the champion holds onto the belt. So in a way, she's a winner. Grasso didn't even understand she didn't win the fight. She was telling DC at the end, "Oh, I won," and he was like, "No, it's a draw." So she didn't even realize because I guess because she got the belt wrapped around her, she thought she won, but she didn't. It was a draw. But the scorecards were just horrible, in my opinion. The scorecards were absolutely horrible. And the worst culprit is Mike Bell, who scored it 47-47. Mike Bell is an absolute idiot. He needs to be fired immediately. He never needs to judge another UFC fight again, let alone a title fight. Let me read it to you how Mike Bell scored the fight. He scored round 1 for Valentina Shevchenko. He scored round 2 for Alexa Grasso. Okay, sounds good. He scored round 3 for Valentina Shevchenko. Oh, it was looking all good until after the third round. He scores round 4 for Valentina Shevchenko, which I don't hate, but especially in real time before going back and watching the knees, I was thinking those knees were the most impactful thing in that 4th round. So I don't hate that he scored round 4 for Valentina Shevchenko, but I really think Grasso should have got the 4th round, and then he scores the 5th round, and this makes it a draw. He scores the 5th round, a 10-8 for Alexa Grasso. It should have been a 10-9 for Valentina Shevchenko, in my opinion. He scores it a 10-8 for Alexa Grasso off of 3 to 4 ground and pound shots, a takedown and control for the last minute and 20 seconds. He scored it a 10-8. That's supposed to be utter domination. Utter domination. Let me put it this way. Maybe this is a hot take, and I wouldn't give anybody a 10-8 for this round. Valentina Shevchenko 10-8 is more acceptable than Alexa Grasso 10-8. What was he just looking at his phone for the first 3 minutes and he just saw the last exchange? He was, oh, that's a 10-8 round. That is a horrible scorecard by Mike Bell. He needs to be fired immediately. He needs to be fired immediately. His family needs to disown him. How do you score round 5 a 10-8 round for anybody? Delusional, horrible. These judges need to be held accountable. Now, had he not scored it a 10-8 and scored it a 10-9, Valentina Shevchenko wins 48-47 on his scorecards by winning 1, 3, and 4, which I don't absolutely hate, but still I don't think that's the right scorecard. I think Valentina took that 5th round, but again, I don't hate it. You look at Saul D'Amato, she scored it for Valentina Shevchenko. She had her winning 1, 3, and 4, which again, I don't hate, but I feel like it should have been 1, 3, and 5. And maybe I'm in the minority here. I just think that Valentina Shevchenko won that 5th round. Shots on your arms, shots on your gloves off of a takedown for the last minute does not win you a round. And then you have Camijo. I don't even know how to pronounce his first name. I can't remember. He scored it for Alexa Grasso, and he had 2, 4, and 5 for Alexa Grasso, which was the only acceptable way to score it for Alexa Grasso. There's no way 1 and 3 could go to Alexa Grasso. I still disagree. 5 should have went to Valentina Shevchenko. But these scorecards, I mean, how is Mike Bell scoring 5 at 10-8? You know, at least if it was, oh, he scored it, you know, at least if he scored it at 10-9 and he scored round 2 and 4 for Grasso, we could have had a 3-2 winner of Alexa Grasso. And I still wouldn't think it would have been a great decision, but it wouldn't have been, I mean, this is horrible. What was he watching to score a 10-8 for the 5th round? This guy needs to be fired. Mike Bell's an idiot. I don't know what Mike Bell is watching. Seriously, the fact that he's judging a title fight is a disgrace. And I truly believe that Valentina Shevchenko should have won this fight. 48-47 decision. And I think she should have gotten rounds 1, 3, and 5. And now you end up with a split draw, which where does the UFC go from here? Do they do a trilogy? But overall analysis of the fight. I love the fight. It was fun. I think both improved since the last fight. I think Valentina Shevchenko was kind of plateauing, and I think she underestimated Alexa Grasso going into the last fight. She was winning. She got caught in the 5th round and got choked out. And I think she came into this fight very ready. But I think Shevchenko, she's messing up trying to grapple. I know she has a massive grappling advantage, but her distance management and her actual kickboxing, I think she could go out there and out kickbox Alexa Grasso for 5 rounds. I genuinely believe that. I think Valentina Shevchenko is the better fighter. But Alexa Grasso just finding that shot in the 2nd round, and it seems Alexa Grasso has more power, but she's not able to manage that distance and manage that range enough. She really didn't do a whole lot in this fight. She really didn't. I mean, Grasso, I know people in the UFC want to hype up, oh, we got a Mexican champion. You got John Anik yelling, Viva Mexico, you know, all night long. But Alexa Grasso, outside of dropping her in that second round and having that late flurry, what did Grasso really do in this fight? I mean, it's hard to really conjure up moments where she had a lot of success. You know, and I get it. Okay, she defended some takedowns in this fight, but she also got out-grappled quite a bit in this fight. And also, she looked tired in the 5th round. I'm not trying to down her performance. She still fought a very game Valentina Shevchenko and fought her to a technical draw. It ended up being a draw. But I just think when I watch this fight, I think Shevchenko is the better fighter here. And I don't think it's that controversial to say that I think Shevchenko is the better fighter. I think she's the better grappler. I think she's the better kickboxer. I think she's the better, I think she's just a better overall fighter. Grasso has decent boxing, and that's really it. She has decent boxing, decent power. She has more power than your typical 125-pound fighter. But I just think Shevchenko is better overall. And honestly, if Shevchenko doesn't mix in the grappling in this fight, I think she wins pretty clearly because Grasso was having trouble managing the distance. She was getting kicked to the body. She was getting teep kicked. She was getting leg kicked repeatedly. And also that left hand for Valentina Shevchenko was landing at will. The jab was landing at will. And Grasso really couldn't close the distance outside of that second round where she landed that nasty right hand that dropped her. And then in the 5th round, Valentina Shevchenko only has herself to blame, to be quite honest. I mean, Mike Bell too. But if Valentina Shevchenko doesn't look for the takedown to seal that round, she cruises to an easy 5th round win, 10-9. It's not even debatable. Nobody in no universe can someone score that. I mean, I guess Mike Bell could have because he's probably on meth tonight. But I just think Valentina Shevchenko should be the champion. And people talk about, being angry about this decision, being angry about this person winning or that fighter winning. The thing that actually annoys me is when I feel like the better fighter does not get their hand raised. And they should have gotten their hand raised. And that's kind of what happened tonight. I don't want to call this like a brutal robbery because, again, I do think there is a case to be made for 2, 4, and 5 for Grasso. But a 10-8 round in the 5th round is just unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. I think we have to run back the trilogy. And let me just say this. The way Valentina Shevchenko was getting easy takedowns against Grasso tonight, I think Erin Blanchfield, if she does get the next title shot, I mean, if I'm Erin Blanchfield right now, I'm like that meme of that guy hiding behind the tree rubbing his hands. Because, I mean, I think that's easy work for Erin Blanchfield. With her grappling, I think she dominates Grasso in the grappling and probably finds a finish. Now, Grasso has much superior boxing to Erin Blanchfield, so maybe I'm dead wrong on that. But if I'm Erin Blanchfield, I'm clamoring for that. But Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, no matter what, it's a draw on the judges' scorecards. A lot of people, I think, thought Shevchenko won. Let me know down in the comments, who did you score the fight for and how did you score it, what rounds? I'm genuinely curious of, what's the, unanimous, thought process or the majority thought process on the scoring of this fight. But they may not give Valentina Shevchenko the trilogy fight. They may not give her. They want a Mexican champion. They want to have a Mexican champion to promote. But Valentina Shevchenko deserves a trilogy fight. She absolutely deserves a trilogy fight. And if she doesn't, she should go to 135. She should go 135. I think she beats Juliana Pena. I mean, I don't care if she does cocaine like John Jones before the fight. I think she outstrikes Juliana Pena with ease. It's just a matter, can Juliana Pena potentially out-grapple her, which we don't know. Juliana Pena has a size advantage. Maybe she could, but I think Shevchenko can be the 135-pound champion. But she should get a trilogy. But I don't know if they're going to give her a trilogy. I really don't. And this brings me back to my point about when we have dominant champions, when we have a champion with an elite skill set that has a dominant reign, it can end like that before you know it. Think about it. Go back to March of this year, which isn't really that long ago. It's only 6 months ago. We're thinking, Valentina Shevchenko, one of the pound-for-pound best women's fighters of all time. This is an easy win for her against Grasso. She loses a fight she's winning by getting rear naked choked in the 4th round. She gets an immediate rematch, and now it's a split draw where Grasso retains the belt. She's 35 years old. She's only slowing down. I may pick Grasso in the trilogy just because Valentina Shevchenko, when's it going to happen? 6, 8 months from now? Who knows when they're going to book it again? Grasso's getting better. She's hitting her prime. So, if one is, perpetually increasing their skill level while the other one's plateauing or on the decline, eventually there's going to be a point. They're already close enough. There's going to be a point where Grasso surpasses her. So this could be the end of Valentina Shevchenko, to be honest. This could be the end of her. I'm not writing her off just yet, but it could be. And then Valentina Shevchenko came out afterwards. She said she broke her thumb in the 1st round. So I don't know what to think anymore. I really don't know what to think anymore. I really think if Valentina Shevchenko just didn't grapple all that much in this fight, I think she's the clear winner. Think about it. The fourth round, she doesn't shoot for that takedown and get kneed in the face 6 times, even though they may be illegal. She clearly wins the 4th round. She doesn't look for that head and arm choke or head and arm throw in the 5th round. She clearly wins the 5th round. So there's a case to be made where Valentina Shevchenko could have won 4-1 with ease, with relative ease, if she just avoids 2 takedown attempts. Easier said than done. I think she came out super motivated. She looked very good in the first round, very fast in the first round. Grasso's boxing looked super crisp. She had very good power, but outside of that, you know, her stamina didn't look all that good. She kind of looked like she was significantly slowing down in the 4th and 5th round. Outside of that last flurry, I felt like she saved up for that last flurry for the last minute of the 5th round. But I think Grasso still has a lot to improve on, but I feel like she's hitting her prime, and I still think she's a very good fighter. But I think she lost to Valentina Shevchenko at UFC Noche. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching.